Welcome to Auto PV. Our AutoCAD plugin is designed to optimize the design process for residential and small commercial projects. If you would like to follow along, feel free to download the drawing file in the description below. Thank you. Okay, so the next command that we're going to look at is PVLayout. So this is our more optimized command. This basically just takes everything that you saw in the combined video and compresses it so that way there's fewer inputs. You'll still have all the same options. It just kind of runs through laying out an entire roof plan all at once. I'll show you what that looks like here. So when we see the flow of the commands, it's here. There's technically 7 steps. Steps 2, 4, and 5 kind of break out into have some options. We'll go over those options, as we progress through the video. But for now, I'm just going to run through the command using whatever values were already set in place. So you can see how optimized it can be. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So we're going to start with PVLayout. Select a roof eave line or ridge line here. So depending on what you have available, so if you have just a small section that has no ridge, or you want to select the eave, this will also determine the top and the bottom of the roof when laying out the panels. So I'm going to just select ridge, and you'll see the ridge will show up red. If I switch to eave, it's going to show up yellow. So I'm going to hit the eave, and then it's going to ask if you want to select a boundary or generate a boundary. So if you already have a boundary in place, you can select that, or you can just generate one. So I'm going to hit generate, and then follow the similar prompts for the PV bound command. So pick the lines that you want at 36 inches. It's just going to be there and here, for example. And then which ones do you want at 0 inches? I'm just going to pick this one. Then it generates a boundary. Now it's going to ask you for the rafter spacing. I'm going to go with 24 inches. Edit the panel size. So if you know the size of your solar panel, ahead of time, you want to edit it, you can. This will just store the previous values that we put in. But I'm going to hit yes. I have some default values set in place for some older panels. 60 cell panels are like roughly 66 inches apart. There's some 77 inches apart, some that are around 80 in length. So I'm just going to go with 77. And for the width, I'm going to put, you can put 40, or you can just manually type in the numbers. So if you know the panels are, 42.1 inches wide, you can insert that value. And then now you have the option to autofill or place the panels individually. I'm going to go with autofill. I'm just going to ask you if you want to autofill it with portrait or landscape. You're going to go with portrait. I'm not going to edit the parameters right now, but so I'm just going to hit enter, and it'll fill everything in based on the parameters that we had already set. And place any individual panels. I'm going to hit no. The attachment spacing, I'm going to switch it to 48, and then keep it inline, and it adds in all the panels and the attachments. So you can see like it runs through everything in one command. The command basically puts in the rafters, puts in the boundary, puts in the solar panels, avoids the obstructions, and then adds in the attachment. So now I'm going to go ahead and break down some of the different options that we have. So if we go to PV layout again, select the roof eave line. So I'm going to pick here, select the boundary, or generate. I'm going to generate a boundary, and then I'm just going to leave it as is. So I'm going to enter twice. And then the rafter spacing, 2 feet is fine. Edit the panel size. If I'm keeping that same panel size, I'm just gonna hit no. We're gonna go with autofill again. This time I'll just show you the different parameters. So we're gonna pick portrait, and this time we're gonna edit the parameters here. And you'll see all your different options are gonna be here, or they're in the command line. Row spacing, right now it's set to 3 feet. I'm gonna change that to 1/4 inch. Column spacing, it's 1/4 inch. The roof alignment, to the left or right, I'm just gonna switch it to right. Panel alignment, you want to align to the boundary edges. Again, if you hit no, then it's going to keep it as a uniform layout, so the top and bottom rows line up. If you hit yes, it's going to align to the edge, so the top row and the next row below it might not line up exactly. So I'm going to hit no to keep it uniform. And then the direction. So do we want to start filling in from the top or from the bottom? So this is where it's important to make sure if you select the right eave line or the right ridge line, because it's going to use that to orientate, where we're filling it in from. So I'm going to fill in from the bottom. And if I'm not changing any other parameters, I just hit enter. It'll fill in the panels, and it's going to ask you, do you want to place any individual panels? I'm going to hit yes. And it's going to automatically give me a landscape panel. And I can just switch that to portrait by typing N for next. So it doesn't look like I could fit another portrait panel in here, but I can definitely fit another landscape panel. And if I want to place one panel, I just click. If I want to fill in an area, I hit F for fill. If I snap to a panel, it will turn green. If I'm within the boundary and not overlapping another panel or obstruction, it'll just be yellow. So I'm looking for that green here, so I keep it in line with this landscape panel that we already placed. So I'm going to click and then drag my mouse across. And yeah, so it's going to overlap with that obstruction there. So let's just say I wanted to end it here and then just do another 2 panels, somewhere like that. I can come in and add however many panels I can fit. It doesn't look like I'm going to fit anything else in here, but yeah, so if I'm satisfied with that, I just hit enter. Now it's going to ask me about the attachment spacing. I'm going to go with 72 inches, and I'm going to go with staggered, and it will add the attachments in at 72 inches apart and have them be staggered. It also gives me the quantities in the command line. So I just added 47 panels with 80 attachments. And I would just repeat the process, on different roof shapes. So PVLayout, I'm going to pick this eave line, generate the boundary, select the lines for 36 inches, select the lines for 0. So I'm going to just pick some of these lines here. Attachment spacing is okay at 2 feet. Edit the panel size, no. I'm going to just do individual portrait. Spacing is okay as is. And I'm going to just use the fill command. Let's just fill in that area. I'm satisfied with that. I hit enter. Attachment spacing is going to be 6 feet. We're going to keep it at that. And we're just going to switch it back to inline. And there you go. We just laid out 42 panels with 110 attachments. And we're going to do the next roof over. So PV layout again. Select the eave line. So this is going to be the eave. I'm going to generate a boundary. We're going to put 36 inches here. And then all of these are going to be at 0. I'm going to select them all. Attachment spacing, rafter spacing is 2 feet. That's fine. Panel size is fine as is. And let me just change it just so you see that option. Let's change it to 66 by 40. And then we're going to go with autofill in portrait. If I bring down, or if you look in your command line, you actually see the current settings. So before you hit edit, you can see the row spacing is 1/4 inch, column spacing is 1/4 inch, align panels to boundary edge, no. Start filling from the bottom, and align roof alignment to the right. So if you're okay with all of that, then you can just hit enter and it'll fill in the panels, and then just switch over to ask whether you want to add any individual panels. So if I hit no, then it's going to just go to the attachment spacing. If I'm keeping it at 6 feet, I can hit enter. If I'm keeping it in line, I can hit enter again, or I can switch it to staggered. I'll switch it to staggered, and it'll add in all the attachments there. And there we just added 39 panels with 61 attachment blocks. And again, the angle of the roof doesn't matter. You can use this on I'll even do some of these obscure roofs over here. So if we're putting panels on this roof, we click the eave line, then we're going to generate a boundary. We want 36 inches here. And let's just say we're going to go 0 and 0 here. Attachment spacing rafter spacing is 2 feet. Edit panel size, no. We're going to go with autofill, portrait. Going to keep the same parameters, just going to hit enter. We're not going to add any more panels. We're just going to leave it as is, same attachment spacing, same placement mode. So we're just going to keep them staggered. We're just going to hit enter. We're going to run through it again for this roof. So generate a boundary. Let's just say we want 36 here and here. I'm going to hit enter, 0 inch walkway here. And then rafter spacing is okay at 2 feet. Edit panel size, no. Autofill again with portrait. Enter, fills everything out. And then we're going to go with placing any individual panels. Enter is no. Just hit enter, enter. And now it adds all of our panels there. So the command can be really quick. I'm going to run through it one more time here, just without describing the command, just so you see how you can work through the command as pretty quickly without having to pause and describe what's going on. So yeah, you can see how quick the command can be without having to pause for descriptions. And then the same thing goes for small commercial roofs. So PVLayout, I can pick the eave line. I'm going to pick down here, select the boundary, spacing for the rafters, we're going to put 24, and then Edit the panel size, no. We're gonna go with autofill. And we're gonna go with portrait. This time I'm gonna change the row spacing to 24 inches. Direction, I'm gonna start from the bottom and just let it fill out on its own. And if I'm satisfied with that layout and I don't want to add any more, just hit no. Enter attachment spacing. We'll put 72 inches and make them staggered. So there you can see how quickly we added 604 panels with almost 800 attachments. Thank you for watching. If you would like to purchase our product, feel free to go to our website. It's linked in the description below. If you would like to leave a comment or provide any feedback, you can do that below or directly on our website. Thank you for your support and stay tuned for more. Thank you.